Hello everyone, welcome to the show. Today's date is Monday, the 2nd of June 2025. The year BSV comes alive, but talking about coming alive, I've got with me on the phone Mr. Blue, who's going to teach us something about our constitution so that we can actually keep ourselves alive, hopefully, and then somehow escape from this tyranny that is being posed upon us. So Mr. Blue, are you there?
I am, Toshi. How are you?
I'm all right, mate. Yeah, let's crack on. So, where do you want to start with? Was it the Crown Agents Bill?
Well, it's the Crown Agents Act.
Yeah.
What I want to just go through is simplistically, and it's not so much constitutional as in what I want to try and expose today is what the removal of this bill did in 1995.
Yep.
And I think it's very relevant to what's going off.
Yeah.
And it's basically to expose certain wrongs by every step of the corporations, which we now know are working and shouldn't be in England. So it's going to be quite an interesting ride. Let's put it that way, Toshi.
Right. Well, I've got the Crown Agents Bill. Number 118, the 1994-95, up on the screen now. So do you want to start there and tell people what they're doing?
Yeah, basically, what happened is the Prime Minister removed this bill in 1995.
Okay.
And then for 2 years, it was just sort of left floating there. Then comes along another Prime Minister, your favourite, most of the favourite one, and he remotely dissolved it. He then transferred all officers from the Crown Agents Act to the Companies Act, 1985. Now we all say, well, why is that so strange? Why is that important? Okay, well, let's discover what a Crown Agent is. A Crown Agent is a police officer that works for the Crown. That's the Imperial Crown, not any other. That's the Imperial Crown. That's mine and your Crown.
Are they politicians as well?
It covers everything. We'll get on to all this. So what I want you to understand is that a Crown Agent are these people. Police officers, clerks of the court, politicians to a degree, or certain politicians within, right? So these all now work on behalf of the Imperial Crown. And under their authority, which is our authority because it's our sovereignty, the people's will to be governed, that allows them their authority. Okay?
Yep.
And now he's removed all that. He's put them all into the Companies Act. Now, all police stations, as we know, have all got DUNS registrations. All courts are now under DUNS registrations. All clerks are all of a sudden legal advisors. But they sign or stamp everything clerk's office. Hang on, how can you be in two jurisdictions at the same time? Simply, you can't. So the clerk of the court now has just committed fraud.
Yep.
Because he's not a clerk of the court. Because he's no Crown authority at all.
Got you.
Because they've been removed. They're under business. So now the police are under business jurisdiction. That means every time that they try and arrest you or do whatever by force, it's illegal. They can't arrest you.
Yeah.
They have to turn up with a warrant of arrest. They have to do this, they have to do that by the law. And they're no longer serving the law. They're under company policy and corporation. That's it. Corporation law. This is why they're allowed to seize your vehicles, come in and smash your house through, because they're not working under the Crown authority. They're working under business.
Well, let's rephrase that then. So they're not actually allowed to do it, but that's why they think they're allowed to do it?
One, they're not allowed to do it. They've no legal authority or lawful authority. However you want to look at it. They claim they work for the king. Well, I'm sorry, but you can't. Because only a Crown agent can work for the king. Unless, heaven forbid, that's a fraud. But we'll go into that at a later date. But it's very simple. No Crown agent, no Imperial Crown. No, no authority of the governed. Now it's the governed authority that gives it authority. So the police are worked as what's the old saying, Sean? The police only have authority because we allow them to have. They police by consent.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, they've got no consent if they are not Crown agents. Because the Crown agent is basically the authority of the people.
Yep.
So if he's not real, then you've got the clerks of the court. They're not real because they're now corporate as well. And they deal for the corporation, not the Crown, the sovereign, the people, in protection of the people's rights, constitutional and common law. All gone. They put us under what they call acts and statutes, which is now law. No, it's not. Never has been, never will be. But everybody considers them to be now law. It's wrong. It's as simple as that. If there is no crime, i.e. no loss, no damage, no injury, no intent, there can be no crime in law.
Yeah.
But under company policy, there is. But let's take it back a little bit of a step. So this is how the trick works. So I'm going to expose everything today for you. So a police officer comes and arrests you. That's fraud. That's kidnapping. It's also fraud by misrepresentation, fraud by omission, because he's not told you he's an incorporated state body only. Right? They then take you to court. Now, if you've been listening to my other podcast, you'll realise that before you get to court, you must, and I mean must, issue a rebuttal of the 12 presumptions of Bar Guild rule law.
Yep.
Right? Because now you're going in as a man and not a persona. The persona is your photograph on your ID, your title, your all caps fiction. It's not a fiction, it's a corporation. To deal with you as a quasim, and I know that sounds ridiculous. What the bleeding hell's a quasim? It's a quasim persona where you have a contract with the police force or the state. Well, I haven't signed a contract, have you?
Nope.
I haven't signed a contract with the police. I haven't signed a contract with the courts or the clerk. So then we go to court. Now, the guys that we think are judges are not. They're not under oath. Where are all judges and barristers and solicitors registered to?
The Bar Guild, which is registered to the City of London.
Right, but it's not only registered there, it's a private members association, right? For profit. Hang on. So we've now got the police a corporation, the clerk of the court and all the court staff corporations, and we've got the judge now a corporation.
Yep.
You now are under a presumption that you are guilty because you are there. You are under a presumption that there's a contract that exists between you and them, all of them, and you've breached this contract. Now that puts you under basically slavery.
So do you think this is what they're doing to Russell Brand when they just made him go into court?
Of course it is. There's no lawful judge in this country. None.
Yeah.
There's not one judge under the Promissory Oath Act 1688. Not one. Because you cannot be under that while you're a Bar Guild judge because of their oath. It's well known. They call the Bar Guild Book of Law, it's called the Devil's Handbook because it's full of tricks. It's to get you to contract with them without you knowing.
I've come across that before. Yeah.
Yep. We've got copies of it. It's repugnant. And when I say repugnant, I mean, Tosia, it is repugnant, mate. It's all about trickery, deceit, getting you to talk yourself into some kind of wrongdoing. It's an entrapment book. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
So the judge now tricks you that he's on your side, does not disclose, which is a breach of the CPR Rule 31, all of them, all sections of it, because they failed to disclose their true nature. They failed to disclose the jurisdiction of the court.
Yeah.
A bar guild judge cannot exist outside of the inner city of London. Cannot conduct any court, without a special license, a written signed consent and agreement by all parties.
Yep.
That's the law. And it's a fact. Look up the the Monopolies Act, 1623, still in force. Because the Bar Guild is a monopoly. Nothing more. It's a monopoly. It's a private association of law. Barristers, solicitors, judges.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? It's there for profit. Working for other corporations for profit. They then wheel in, we just had a case very recently, where they wheeled in 12 jury members and just plonked them down. Well, no. That's not how the Jury Act works. They have to provide at least 20 applicants where you pick and choose your jury. And if none of them, whatever, and you think they're biased, they've got to clean them out. Now they're forced in you. Can't do that either. So it's a rigged jury.
Jeepers.
Right? Rigged jury. It's a breach of the Juries Act. It's a breach of due process.
Yeah, yeah.
And the fact is, you've no rights now because you are the quasin, which is the lowest form of law. You're under now a compelled presumption by presumption of obligation from a social contract. Penny Morton, a few months ago, said what? We are all under a social contract. No, we're not. No, we're not. That's an absolute lie. False statement. I'm not under any presumed contract that I do not willingly, knowingly enter into intentionally. Because first off, I want to know what this contract says. And what I am going to be responsible for. Right? So we go now, the police are corporations.
Yep.
Right? And have you noticed when you get a letter from the police officer, none of it's signed, it's just stamped now from the relevant office? That's illegal. That's malfeasance in public office.
Oh, wow.
Because nobody's taking responsibility for that letter, for that claim, whatever it is.
Yep.
It's malfeasance in public office. Oof. Right? Then you've got, it's also non-feasance, misfeasance, because they all know this and fail to tell us, fail to act.
Deception.
To deceive, to betray, and to steal. Our money, our cars, our homes, our lands, wages. And by issuing all these paperwork from the courts that are not signed, failing to show you warrants, failing to sign anything, is criminal because they all know it's under the Bar Guild. And there's no special license because there can't be a special license because you have to agree to that license in writing that you understand what is going off and it's all disclosed. Right? So the judge in court is not a judge, he's a Bar Guild associate for commerce. You are there without a contract, no consent and no written consent given. So it's fraud. by misrepresentation, fraud by omission, because the judge has the right to tell you what jurisdiction you're in.
Yep.
As to the rule of law, there's no due process. It's a breach of your Bill of Rights, Magna Charta.
And are they going to try and claim that they're not in force anymore?
No, what they're doing is they're basically by force and in the act of terrorism, Section 1, 2015, forcing you to comply.
Yeah.
They lock you up with no authority, with no warrant.
So the same goes for governors of prisons, because the prisons are all private corporations. They've got no right
Correct.
to incarcerate anybody.
Yep, and there is no warrant of imprisonment.
Unbelievable.
None. So how can they imprison you if there's no warrant? Because nobody's put the name to it. So now that's fraud. That is a serious, grievous misconduct. That is public outrage. And this is what I now need to express to people. You need to stop being conned. You need to stop being frightened.
Well, they need to know what to do. Knowledge is power.
Exactly. So what you do is you claim that you are sovereign. End of. I am the REM. You have no jurisdiction here. You're a private corporation state police officer. Therefore, you are incorporate in commerce. You don't work for me. You do not have my consent. And even more, you do not have my authority or the Imperial Crown's authority.
It's going to take strength in numbers, isn't it?
It's not so much the numbers, mate. We're already putting stuff in. Look, there's 5 chief constables I know now are under indictment, pre-action protocols for indictments. I've been contacted by a lot of people, and it's ongoing now. It's really starting to pick up. Now, what I'm on your show to do today is just say, like, people, this is it. This is time. If we've got a time now, it's now, right? Because we figured out the game. We figured out the rules of their game.
Yeah.
We've got now all bailiffs nailed to a cross. You cannot enforce something that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Like me and you spoke earlier. Council tax liability orders. States in section on the 13th edition, page 220, I believe it is. Liability orders have been removed from law since 2003.
Oof. Wow.
How can you enforce something that doesn't exist? Sharna E. Jones from the HMCT Limited Corporation under Duns has admitted that the council now have their own software to produce their own liability orders. Oof. It goes to a bulk stamping centre. So it doesn't have due process. It doesn't have the Crown seal, and it doesn't have a judicial hand or mind over it. That's fraud. That's misrepresentation. Cannot be enforced. It's been removed from law.
And where was it? Where was that stated? Liability orders have been removed. What removed from?
It's in the Council Tax Handbook. Sharna E. Jones has stated it on multiple occasions, and she's the head of legal and professional services at HMCTS.
Right. Wow.
It's all over the internet with it. I've got the documents. Right? They've admitted that the courts no longer hold the warrants. No longer hold the oaths and bonds of the judges. Where are all the oaths and bonds of the judges supposed to be held? As to the rule of law.
By the court?
To the court. Therefore, you then can demand those, and if they are not brought forward, case is void.
Yeah.
Because the judge does not have jurisdiction, and he does not have claim to it.
So what do you reckon Russell Brand should do in this situation?
Well, I mean, that's up to Russell, isn't it? I mean, at the end of the day, he needs to challenge everything. Jurisdiction, the judge, the jury.
Yeah.
Because I would not, no way would I accept their jury. Not a prayer on earth. I would now literally go for a mistrial as it's a rigged jury.
Yep.
You know, look, I mean, we've all seen the evidence of these this incident that's happened where the old guy died. I mean, there's no way that should have been a verdict of whatever it was. We all know that.
Which guy was this?
I don't want to get too technical, so I don't want to...
yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want to impact your show, and I don't want to put whatever, but I think people will know which one I'm talking about. It's the old guy that died after a little bit of a police interaction.
Yeah.
That's got dementia and all the rest of it, and, you know, all of a sudden the jury has found them not guilty. But it's all videoed. 90-odd-year-old.
Oh, yeah, I know the one.
Right? And off we go. So you're not telling me, because I can pull in 50 judges in rems, that would have been guilty. Without hesitation, before anything. The public perception has to be upheld. It has to be. Because if we remove our authority, never mind your consent, your consent is nothing. It is your authority. Removal of your sovereign authority from the imperial crown's use and the police's use and the corporate, because they're all in fraud. Every single one of them is in fraud.
Yep.
It is kidnapping. It's time now to start claiming. And I mean claim big. Breach of GDPR rules. Do you know you can get 4% of their annual turnover because they've swapped your information without your permission and without a lawful reason? Because if the liability order has been removed from law since 2003, what can they enforce? Why are they all going to business centres?
Yeah.
And calling themselves courts? Why are they turning over hundreds of millions of pounds by issuing fraudulent documents?
Good question.
Right? How would all these magistrates' courts, high courts and everybody now walk into one? What do they all say they are? Administrative.
Yeah.
Okay, so an administrative court has no authority in England. Cannot hear a case. It can only hear how do I put this? Public concerns regarding matters of, like, if loads of us got an issue with the council or another public official, then that's where it's sort of heard, but it's right under the rules and policies. That's it.
Yeah.
So they're telling us ourselves, you're now under rules and policies of corporations. If you don't do as you're told, we're going to take everything from you. We already have, but we just don't know you've done it. You've got no constitutional rights anymore. You've got no protection of the imperial crown, and you're not under common law anymore. You're under corporate rule. End of. Simple as that. That's why they don't listen to you. They don't hear you. You are the quaz. You are the one that they've got a imaginary contract with, that you've now contracted with them to say that they have full autonomy over you. Did you give that away, Sean?
I didn't, mate.
Your power of attorney, your sovereign rights, everything. That's what it is. Every judge in this land is a bar guild representative.
So therefore they've got no jurisdiction outside of the City of London?
Absolutely none outside the inner City of London. Magistrates cannot be presumed to be given authority by Parliament. Why? It's called the Carltona doctrine. No authority can be delegated. None.
And what's it? The Carltona doctrine?
Yeah, Carltona.
Carltona doctrine. Here we go.
Yeah, Carltona. Yeah. Sorry, it's my broad Yorkshire accent.
It's all right, mate. Yeah, I got it here. So, faced with the requisition of their factory by the wartime government, the factory owners raised a judicial review action to challenge the legality of the requisition order. The order had been made by the auspice of the Defence General Regulations 1939, which authorised the commissioners of the works to requisition such land as they deemed necessary in the national interest. The regulations specified that the commissioners' powers were exercisable by inter alia, the Minister of the Work and Planning. The factory owners sought to argue that the requisition was invalid because the order had not in fact been signed by the minister, but by an official within the Ministry of the Works and in Planning. In rejecting this contention, the Master of the Rolls, Lord Green, acknowledged the reality of the government in the 20th century. Yeah, so basically he's going to say that they can't delegate authority to do it. Yeah, wow. So
there you go. It's also in Lord Kilmore's letter in 1960. In one of the sections there where he literally advises Edward Heath that even the Queen could not delegate powers to her Parliament.
Oh, wow.
As Parliament are mere servants.
Yeah.
To the people.
Yep.
It's there in there. You can't delegate authority. You can't delegate power. So nobody got any authority. None.
Yeah, so Parliament have no authority whatsoever.
No. Yeah. It's all about power, illusion, and control. Where if you don't capitulate and you start your nonsense, we're going to come and get you in the middle of the night and batter the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But don't mean to say it's going to happen if we stand together. I've now just give you the literally full workings of it, and everything's backed up. And I mean backed up. We've got cases going in. We've had literally threats of being sentenced and everything. Then we issue the 12 presumptions of law. They then have to change jurisdiction. Oh, it's a criminal matter. How can a civil matter be criminal?
Yeah.
Right? Who brings the claim? So normally in a criminal case, it's the Crown. Yeah. So the first thing you do is you get the Crown there because they're bringing the claim, so they've got to have first-hand knowledge.
Yeah.
The case collapses. Where's the Crown agents? Isn't any? The clerk's not a Crown agent. It's a commercial entity now. So is the CPS, Crown Prosecution Service, my left leg. It's a commercial entity. Because it tells you there, all Crown agents have been removed into the Companies Act. Therefore, Look at all the courts. They've all got, what is it, numbers? Look on the, find the VAT numbers. Who can only have a VAT number?
Yeah, business.
There you go. That's it, evidenced. You're registered to a foreign Duns, through Duns. You've got a VAT number, and you're running from corporate policy. In an administrative court, which is under the 12-bar presumptions of guilt. Right. But you do not get a trial by jury, you do not get a public record trial, and they can do whatever they want with you.
It's outrageous.
And they will fine you, enforce everything. They don't give you the documentation. They tell you they don't need it. Oh, no, it's in a safe now. No, you've got to disclose it. It's called disclosure for a reason.
Yep.
Where's the witness statements? Where's all this? Who is actually bringing the claim? Who's claimed that I've done any wrongdoing? Nobody. What loss, damage or harm have I caused? None. What intent did I have to do this miraculous thing?
Yeah.
There ain't any. There you go then. So there's no crime. But because you broke a policy or rule, you're guilty. and we're going to charge you everything we can. Now, I don't want to go into the trust, trust. I mean, it's there, it's what have you, but that's what it's all about. It's all about the fraud of entering your trust. It's all about the fraud of deceiving you and making you pay again. Because why do you think they call it charges, Sean?
Don't know.
Because they can charge your trust.
Ah, of course.
Right? They bring you into a bar guild. What's the bar guild? The bank. It's, we all know it's a monopoly. It's an association of monopoly. That's why it could never step outside of the inner city of London without a special licence and written consent.
Which they would never get.
Never. But because now every barrister, judge and everything who's now solicitor, bar guild. Who registers your home? Bar guild.
Yeah.
Right, when you go for a mortgage, you go see your solicitor. Who's he working for? He ain't working for you. You're just paying him because he's working for the bank. Any contracts needs the same day signature, 2 copies of contracts, so it cannot be altered, changed, or fraud, put into fraud or conception of fraud.
Yeah, that's where the Bitcoin network comes in handy.
I agree with you. I mean, that, it's there, it's on a chain, everything's documented, it's done, not an issue.
Yeah.
But what I want to stick to today is just the literal fraud that's going off. Everybody thinks it's complex, it's this, that, and other. No. You're under Admiralty. Yes, you are. By the police. Because the police now, by Admiralty, can put you under a compelled performance. But they need a contract.
Yeah.
Under Admiralty law. This is where they put the Mr. on, or Ms. or whatever. No.
Yeah.
Stop you there. I am not that. They all caps legal fiction. I'm not that either.
Yeah.
Right? I am the Rem. If you don't understand, I suggest you get somebody you do. Because if you take me, this is my bill, have it with you, take a little folder in your car. Oh, by the way, what's your numbers? Yours is that, right? Get whoever's with you to write them down on this and just serve them with the misconduct in public office. Section public outrage. Do you know what that does?
What's that?
Suspends them immediately.
All right, well.
For wrongdoing.
What if they ignore that?
They can't.
Yeah.
Because if you're videoing it, say, there you go, we've now served you with misconduct in public office.
Brilliant.
Right, there you go, public outrage. You have no authority to stop me. You're not a Crown agent. You're not working for the what is it? And you're impersonating a police constable.
Oof.
Because you can't be a constable. You're a corporation. So that's fraud by misrepresentation, fraud by omission, deception.
So really what we need, well, again, it's an organisation that we need to set up that people can ring when they're being faced with these criminals, where we can literally serve them notice of public outrage.
No, you serve them yourself. Literally, as long as you've got it on video and you've got it in your car, literally, you just go, name, rank, number, bump. Right, thank you very much. There you go, you're served. You're not police officers. You've got no authority to stop me. You're working in commerce under Admiralty law. Maritime jurisdiction. Without my consent, you failed to expose yourself, you failed to give me disclosure, and you have committed fraud by omission.
Wow, yeah. Well, so really, but probably be all right for somebody like you to do that, but for somebody else, like, they need somebody to hold the camera, make sure it's being recorded, make sure they've got witnesses there, make sure the police don't try anything funny with them.
Yeah, but this is the whole point. This is what I'm trying to say to you.
Yeah.
If you see the police turn up, pulling somebody over, pull up behind them, get out, video them, and say, whoa, we know who you are. Time you left, pal. Move it. We're not having you picking on our fucking people anymore. No chance. You're done. Go away. You've been exposed. You're a fraud. You're a private corporation extorting money.
Yeah.
Because what does Halsbury's law say that everybody says it doesn't say? It does. Have a look at Blackstone's on administrative court. Have a look at Stoat's laws books. You don't like Halsbury's, go on to them. See what they say. Do your own research.
Yeah, we've got Halsbury's Law of England and Wales here.
Yeah.
It says the law is absolutely clear on this subject. There is no authority for administrative courts in this country, and no act can be passed to legitimise them because of the constraints placed upon her or His Majesty at her coronation. And the coronation
or
oath
it's
that they
what?
take.
It's extortion. Crime of extortion.
Yeah.
Because they're under bar guild presumptions.
Yep.
You can't have a bar guild outside of the inner city of London. Every judge is now in fraud. We want his bonds, we want his house, we want the insurance, we want our monies back, we want the fines paid that has been done in fraud by force.
Yeah.
We want you to set it right if you've had your house repossessed or there's something on for council tax. You cannot enforce something that doesn't exist.
Well, yeah, so it's a case of, well, again, it's it's getting this information out to the public so they know. So many people are still asleep. They have no idea.
Yeah, we know that. And they're paying fines that they can't afford. They're struggling. They're doing whatever. Stop paying. Just stop. Say no. Go away. We're not interested. Do your worst. There's loads of, I'm not being awful, but there is absolutely shed loads of paperwork. And if it's done correctly, we'll blow their socks off because they can't hack it. They can't do it. Jacobs, I reckon, and all these bailiff agencies, this is a warning to you guys now. You are about to come across your worst nightmare because we figured out your fraud. We figured out your extortion. By you going to somebody's property with an unsigned, unstamped liability order for anything is fraud. It is the worst crime of all. It is high treason. Look up the Criminal Common Law Act of Uttering. It's in the Forgery Act, 1913. It is also contempt of court. But they don't have to worry, you see, because they've got it rigged. The police, as we've demonstrated in one of our earlier podcasts, West Yorkshire Police is run by the bailiffs.
Yeah.
They have 2 shares. There's 5 shares in West Yorkshire Police. They're all running the same way. It's all for profit. Why do you think you can't get a police officer unless you've gone through a red light where they can nick you, or you've done something they can charge you for? Where do you think the council don't do anything? Why do you think nobody signs anything? Because as soon as they sign for it, they're guilty.
Yeah.
They're all hid behind the corporate veil. The corporate veil is going to be ripped down. Because now, as to the maxims of law, and as to the new laws that were fetched in on the 23rd of December, you can now sue the people, independent of their corporate veil, for doing financial wrong. So all these tax council employees that work on council tax, you're done. We will take, everybody in England now will take your houses, your pensions, your lots. You will have to repay everything and you will be charged with high treason because the document you sent is forged. There is no social contract. There is no agreement with the corporation.
And which court would they have to go to prove this? The High Court?
No, you go to... what court? Why don't we all go to a bar guild court?
Yeah.
Let's have some fun. You know what I mean? There are 1 or 2 honest judges out there, or judges that are trying to make and uphold the law. But unfortunately, the rest of them are just absolute tyrants.
Yeah.
You go straight into a court and it's, don't get away. We're not interested in what you've got to say. That's your fine. That's your fixed penalty. Go away. Next.
Yeah.
How's that call law? The judge has to put his mind to it. Not in 10 seconds.
Well, I thought the judge...
You're guilty because you stood here. There's no record, so I can get away with murder.
I thought it's up to a jury to make a decision, though, isn't it? Not the judge.
Well, it is, but now they've brought in this single justice procedure for commerce. They think they can get away with it.
Well, they are doing because people don't know what to do.
Well, they are because people don't know the rules of law.
Yeah.
I've always said, and listen, and this is me just very recently. You know, Sean, me and you have had a cup of coffee a time or two. You know, I'm a very hands-on sort of person. I don't take fools lightly, and I will speak my mind. Right? But now the pen is mightier than the sword. Because all of these officials are done. Every single one. The Police and Crimes Commissioner, joke. It's another way to scam money out of us.
Yeah, it's not even money. It's
No, well, we know
fraud.
that, but I don't want to go into that and confuse the issue again.
Yeah.
What I want to do is just stay on topic. It is basically to scammers.
Yeah.
Why do we need a Police and Crimes Commissioner? What role do they play? None. Because they're corporate. All this is to pay off the corporate debts of which United Kingdom Corporation, Great Britain Corporation. We've shown it, I think, on your show or another show that I did. When you scan the blue, the square barcode or whatever it's called, Sean.
Yeah.
It showed you, it went all over. Like when we did it, everybody was checking it, and it went off to pay the bonds.
Japanese bonds.
Oh, they're not Japanese bonds. They're our bonds that we sold to Japan, and that's why they're called Japanese bonds.
Yeah.
Right. So we're having to pay back the bonds. It's not us that should be paying it. It's the corporate side. So how do they get you to pay it? By putting you in the corporate side. Changing jurisdictions. All right, we're going to con these now. We've done it all the time. You answer me this one question, Sean, and this is, really important. How did we come from people to public, to citizens, to persons, travellers, passengers, cargo? Excuse me? Never mind another 10 different ways we could call ourselves. And then every one of them have a different meaning. Apart from people, man. Because every other conscript is about being corporate or maritime.
Yeah.
Mr. Christian. Look at your old war films and stuff. Your lieutenants, Mr. Right? It is all about Admiralty, maritime, everything. Your postcode is military. It's Admiralty. Do you know what your postcode is? It's a walkway.
Ah, is that what it is?
So you know the post where sandbanks are and the swap and the shift?
Yeah.
Right? It tells you how much water is underneath by the post. So when it goes post to post, how far do you think it's 15 feet from post to post? How many houses are in a postcode? 15.
Really? Oh,
yep. Admiralty, put your postcode in a square bracket. 4-corner rule, off the page. Don't not use them, but put them in square brackets so they're blank.
Yeah,
We've gone through that before on the 4-corner rule. But the key friction to this is you're not a persona. You haven't got a contract. You're not corporate. Now you know the trickery. Now you know that they're all corporate and you're above them. Can't deal with you. So they have to, in fraud, convert you from the sovereign to the persona. Now you're trapped. Unless you declare who and what you are and rebut all and every presumption of the Bar Guild. Then they've got to do some jiggity-pokery then, because now you've thrown them.
I think a lot of people would just have trouble comprehending how corrupt the entire system is.
I get it. It's taken me, it's taken me quite a bit of time to do all this and get everything up. We exposed Pitcom. It got shut down. Guess what's happened?
They just reincorporate it under another name?
No, they've actually shut it down for a few months, and it's now back up and trading.
Really? No way.
Yep. Right? They absolutely think we are so stupid. Right? We'll shut it down for a while. They won't come back and look for this. So we'll trick them again, and then lo and behold, it's back up and running.
Yeah, but it's like, all you got to do is tell somebody that something's safe
But
and
that's
effective
fraud.
these days,
But that's fraud, Sean. You cannot have a dissolved company come back to life and have no record that it was dissolved. But that's what Companies House have done.
Corruption.
It's absolutely widespread, mate. It's in every department throughout our system of governance that is no longer governance. It is tyrannical.
Endemic.
It's honestly, mate, it's absolutely shocking. It goes from bottom to top. Every one of these departments are working together. There's no independency. There's no separation of powers. None of that's gone. There's no oaths of office. Gone. We've now got a parliament that's not a parliament anymore. It's a merchant's parliament.
It's a conspiracy, mate, isn't it?
Well, they say it's a conspiracy, but we can prove it.
Yeah, but
it does not become a conspiracy anymore when you can prove it.
I didn't say conspiracy theory. I said it's literally a conspiracy where people conspire to commit nefarious activities, which is what they're doing.
Oh yeah. It's honestly, mate, it's shocking. Collusion. And this is what you've got to be careful of with every interaction you do with these things. Sorry, don't deal with corporations.
Yep.
And if no, don't be losing your rag at me, pal, or else you'll get a good hiding. Leave now, and I won't press charges of misconduct in public office. As to public outrage, you have just committed fraud by misrepresentation, fraud by omission, impersonating a police constable, failure to disclose your true standing, and failing to uphold the rule of law. Have we any further comments you'd like to make?
It's good, mate.
Bye-bye. I know it's easy saying this on an interview like with me and you, but we've got to all get ready to do it.
Yeah.
No, don't have any dealings with you. There you go. Oh, just kind of. I mean, it's literally 3 pages. Misconduct in public office, causing public outrage. You are then, that officer then is suspended immediately, forthwith. Done.
And so would you send that notice into the police constable?
What you do then is you get back, print off another one. I've had an interaction with this police constable, all names, You send it to the IPCO, you send it to the chief constable, bang, and then you send one to the chief constable.
Brilliant.
Because he's now failed to train his officers. He's failed to disclose to them, if you want to believe this, that they don't know. And I'm being very sarcastic there.
Shit.
Right? And there you go. That's it. That's how we do it. And don't forget this. This is the most important thing. You breach one man's constitutional rights, you breach every man's constitutional right. They're there for all of us. Right? Cannot be breached. Cannot be removed from us.
Yeah.
Right? All of them. I don't care what merchants' parliament states. It's been in treason since 1707.
The Act of Union.
The Act of Union. Where was the royal assent to it? Queen Anne at the time didn't give it. Where was the vote for the people? We joined 2 nations, allegedly. Therefore, the people have to have their say.
And just tell the people listening, when did the UK jurisdiction start?
The UK, but it's been ongoing forever and a day. I mean, they've been setting this up since the corporations from 1600. Soon as they got the birth certificates involved.
Right, but the United Kingdom didn't exist back in the day when it was
No,
England
it didn't.
and
No, it didn't. But now they're claiming on paperwork that the United Kingdom came in 1640. No, it didn't. How can it come in 1640? The United Kingdom's 4 kingdoms. Scotland didn't come in until 1707, accordingly, and then Ireland came in 1801. So how do you get United Kingdom in 1640 or 1660?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, don't exist. And how do you get the United Kingdom anyway when the Act of Union, it was done by the Merchants' Bank. It was done by Bar Guild. Why? Because Scotland was broke. And I mean broke. It was destitute. It had borrowed that much money from what religion is Scotland?
Catholic, Christian?
Correct. And it was massively Catholic in the day. Right? They borrowed all their money from where? The church. The church wanted its money back. So what did they do? They created the Act of Union so that the church could get its money back. And England and Wales would have to pay the debt.
And
it was a scam even back then.
What was it paid in? Gold or something?
Well, mate, it was. I would imagine it was paid in silver, gold, and taxes of the English and Welsh people.
Yeah.
Right. It's all there if you look for it. It's just absolutely pathetic. It's the changing of you, the man, the people, into something else, which they can later rely upon to then conduct word changes. Black's Law's a great one for it. What's a person in Black's Law?
Sea
monster, dead, corporation, legal fiction, straw man.
Yeah.
In the latest one, it now says human.
But isn't it
now says living being also. It said living being.
Isn't
as well as all those other descriptions.
Doesn't the definition of human also mean a sea monster in some dictionaries?
Yeah. It's honestly, mate, this is how they've tricked it by just literally word association. By telling you that you're now the public instead of the people. Oh, that sounds. Oh, okay, yeah, we'll go with that. Well, it's the public, we're all public together. We're all no. They just moved you again closer to the incorporated fiction state. If you're on a ship, what are you classified as?
Midshipman?
No, you're a passenger.
Ah.
Right? What does the captain classify you as?
Cargo? Yeah.
Because he has full responsibility over you. He can jail you, he can throw you overboard, do whatever you want. He is judge, jury, and executioner. Why do you think they're now bringing the Admiralty, Maritime rules? Because they have now got full jurisdiction over you. The Railways and Waterways Act. We went to cargo. The Zong massacre. 130 slaves went over the side, and the Bar Guild, Lord Mansfield, stated, fine.
And what was that called? The Zong massacre?
The Zong massacre, you've looked it up, Sean.
Yeah, I'm just going to see if I can find it.
And basically, Lord Mansfield declared that it was like throwing a horse over, and that's when we became property.
Got ya.
Right? It's honestly, mate, it's the trickery of words and the deception of jurisdiction. What they've led us to believe and where we actually are.
Wow. Yeah, that's shocking, isn't it?
Right? And it's all by deception and design. For us to pay off their debts. Simple as that. And it's that time that people started to stick together. Colour, race, religion, I don't care. This is repugnant for all races. This is repugnant for all men and women.
Yeah.
We have to now stop them separating us. Putting in the hatred. It's as simple as that. Because this affects all of us.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect one or two. It affects every man, woman and child. People have lost their homes for not paying the council tax. How's that possible? It was out of law from 2003.
Yeah.
Right? It was repugnant. Nobody agreed to pay council tax. Nobody. All taxation has to be agreed on what they say is Parliament and the Crown. Well, we own both. But what's happened is, once you make an election now, all of a sudden, apparently, we've given our power of attorney away to an MP who now works not for you, but for his party. That's why they've got party whips and all the other malarkey that goes on in there to whip them into doing what the party wants. Not what your constituents want, not the people that voted you in to do good and for the betterment of their lives and their areas and to keep jobs and employment and everything running smoothly. No. You now work for your party. You will do what they say. And then we'll run it up to the election and then we'll give them 12 months of good news and make them feel a little bit better. We'll get re-voted in and then we'll take all that we've given them back and a lot more besides. That's how it runs. It's all deception. All of it. Because it's not you voting, it's your persona. It's all caps. It's the persona that votes.
Well, it's not even voting, is it? Like you said, it's an opinion. It's an opinion.
Well, it's an opinion. Like I said, you go down, put an X in the box. Where's your signature? Where is your authority? Isn't any.
Yeah.
It's fake.
Yeah.
Complete and utterly fake. The whole system is built on quicksand.
Yeah.
And it's now being exposed. It only needed somebody to actually go through this and look at the deception and how long it's been going on. 1973, when we went into EC, they had to change laws and rules to make that happen in fraud and deception. It was called out. So in 1975, they had another election. Fraud. Absolute fraud. Because what did they say to us all through 1974? Will not affect your sovereignty. In 2008, what do we find out?
Yeah.
Or 2001, they buried all the evidence.
Yeah.
For 30 years because they can't go any further. Mm-hmm. And then now in 2018, Parliament claimed sovereignty back. Hang on a minute, it didn't affect our sovereignty. So why are we all under EEC rules, regulations?
Yeah.
Why is that above our laws? What? What's going off? Because you are now a corporate entity under the stewardship of the laws of Rome by merchant's law, admiralty law. And admiralty law was never given royal assent. It was made up by Lord Mansfield by squashing equity and common law together. And then he trained 50 barristers in it. It's all in his memoir. I've got it all written down.
Really?
Look it up. It's fascinating reading.
Wow.
So it's never been given royal assent. Never. It is nothing more than bargill trickery, deception. That's why they call it the Devil's Handbook. It's there to deceive you, to get you to contract so that they can empty your pockets. They can deceive you and charge you and enter into certain obligations that you don't have, never agreed to.
Yeah.
And there you go. And I guarantee Parliament will now, under the Henry VIII power clause, start removing the Monopolies Act. The What Is It Act. They'll just do whatever they want, and they can't do it. Any act before 1688 is untouchable by Parliament, because Parliament wasn't created until 89. Not this one. The other one was removed for its corruption. It nearly happened again in 1835. The Municipals Act, when they tried this nonsense before. They've done it before, mate. Now it's subtler. But the problem with the beauty we've got now is the evidence is there.
Yeah, yeah.
It's all over the place, and they're having to answer the questions. And they're having to tell us what's going off. But they've deceived us by not telling us the full truth. And saying, oh, well, you've not asked it in a right way. We both know, we've seen it before. You send a load of paperwork in, and just because you don't number the pages, but you put it all in, what does the judge do? Turns it upside down.
Yeah,
If he doesn't like what's on it, he'll turn it upside down and said, couldn't read it. It was illegible. So you say, did you turn the page over? Watch his face. It's Bar Guild, Devil's Handbook, trickery. It's shocking, mate.
Yeah.
And this is what people have got to start to see. Just get a docket, 12 presumptions rebutted, stick it straight in. Stick it straight into your council. No, we're not having any more deception. No, you're not sending me any more bills. Nothing. It's already paid. And see the Section 151 officer's boss.
Gonna need strength in numbers, aren't we, though, to pull this off?
Well, mate, it's already happening. There's people all over this country that are going into groups, that are going into whatever. They know something's wrong. They know it is not right. They just need the proper guidance. None of this freemen of the land nonsense. It doesn't say that. It says free men of the realm. Look it up. It's in the Magna Charta. There's no freemen of the land. That's bloody Australia.
Right.
Doesn't work over here. And that's for Aborigines, not us.
Right.
No free man will be deprived of his
rights.
Well, it's possessions, seized, jailed, without the due process of law or a jury of his peers.
Yep.
So they're in breach of the Magna Charta now. You can't seize a man for a policy, a breach of a rule, a foreign state. They even said that because of going into the EU, we would have to absorb some of EU. No, we don't have to absorb anything in law. Our laws are ours. They are divine. They were designed in such a way that they could not be breached. But because we've all fallen asleep at the wheel, we're now paying the consequences.
Well, people have no idea what was going on, No,
why? Because we're all paying bills.
Yeah.
We're all running around doing 60, 70 hours a week, trying to bring us kids up, trying to do this, trying to do that, both working, trying to pay the bills.
Yeah.
While they're all sat emptying it on parliamentary privilege.
Yeah.
Expense accounts. 12 grand for this, 12 grand for that. Yeah. Food. 200,000 for this, 200,000 for that. 2 million for office.
500 quid for a taxi journey.
Yeah, exactly. Are they taking? It is our money. It is the public purse. When was a corporation allowed to go into the public purse?
Yeah, never.
Well, why are they doing it now?
Well, exactly.
That's why there's no money. Why in April, tax to tax year, what is the first thing the government does? Create debt. Gives a load of money away. So we have to pay it back. Are they taking mick?
Yeah.
What? So all of a sudden, with this funny money, they've created debt and give it to countries that have nearly as much money as we have.
It's usury, mate.
Right? Correct. we have got the usury beneficiary of their systems. Well, no, I beg to differ. First in line is first in right. They were our systems first. They've just been inverted, subverted, and perverted.
Yep.
They are our systems, right? It is not Parliament's, and it is not Parliament's to change. Parliament does not have the authority. It comes from the imperial crown, the authority of the governed. Who's that?
Us.
Me and thee.
Yeah.
Right? People have forgot the basics, the simplicity of it all. Everybody's looking for some massive school. It's got to be this, it's got to be... No, simple. They haven't removed us from the land. They've removed us to our driving licence, our passport. Why do you think they brought in the British Act? Because now you're British. What does British mean? You're under Roman law. Because what did Rome call Britain? It called us, England. Britannia, whatever, however they pronounced it.
Oh.
Right, which is what Britain was. So put us under Roman law, which is merchant's law.
That's interesting.
Oh my God.
Why did
when they say, and I do not jest, when they say all roads lead to Rome, we're not frigging kidding.
Yeah.
Right, it's as simple as that. We're now under police, admiralty, maritime jurisdiction on land.
Yeah.
Because of certain acts, Canals Act, Waterways Act, Traffic Acts. What does traffic do? It flows.
Yeah.
Right? What are roads? Ways. Traffic ways. Right? It's a trickery of words. It's simple trickery of words. Move you jurisdictions without your knowledge, without your consent, and without disclosing it. Fraud on top of fraud on top of fraud. Now they're all guilty and have to pay us back. Their bonds are ours now. Their insurance policies are ours. Every unlawful order that they've committed is now refundable in full. In full. Because you cannot enforce something when it doesn't exist. It's a fact in law.
Yeah, no substance. Right, mate. We've been going for 1 hour, 7 minutes. That's probably a good time to quit for the listeners. So we'll have to come back for a part 2.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, this has been fantastic. So hope everybody is listening. Well, I'll be putting links into the description of the show. And then obviously Mr. Blue and myself will be back at a later date. And we're probably going to be starting something like a private association of our own groups. So anybody who is interested in knowing more and knowing what the essential knowledge, you can get in touch and we'll start spreading this information. So I hope you enjoy this show. And until then, be aware, take care, stay safe out there. And we'll see you in the next one.